are you doing? It is Getting the Box here. Welcome back to Furry Trash. Just hopping in really quick to say, first of all, thank you to every single person who tuned in over the last couple of days. It's been really, really amazing. And I want to say massive thank you to people who attended our Confuzzled panel on Sunday, May 30th. And I want to say not only thank you to the people who attended, but in particular thank you to the virtual con staff, and in particular the Irish furries who were there to support me on the very first Confuzzled panel, which actually was technically my very first furry con, so that was a bit of fun. I also want to say a massive thank you to everyone who tuned in last week for the Lemon Brat video. It was been absolutely overwhelming. The response has been absolutely incredible, both on Spotify and video and stuff, hence why we've decided to continue on with video episodes. They'll be a bit sporadic between here and there, depending if we have pre-recorded episodes or not, but as of right now, there is this episode and a couple more episodes planned out to be videos, so I really hope you enjoy those. As always, they'll still be available on Spotify and Google Podcasts and everything, as you can currently find the show, just audio-wise. And that's kind of it, really. I wanted to say as well that this particular episode does discuss arachnophobia and spiders. If you are uncomfortable with that, I would suggest you click off. Without any further delay, here is this week's episode with FaunaFur. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Furry Trash. I'm Rose Getting the Box, and welcome to this podcast for Furries by Furries. This week we are once again joined by a video and audio, so if you want to join the full video, it is available on YouTube at Box of Adventures on YouTube, and audio, as always, on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Today I am joined by the one, the only, all the way from the American States. It is FaunaFur.
Yay! Hi.
Hi Fauna. Tell people who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Fauna, which it's like fauna and flora, so I'm the fauna part. But I was a zookeeper for 4 years. I went to college for it, but now I'm just focusing on art due to health issues. But yeah, my whole lifestyle is animals and nature, so that's kind of why I chose the name Fauna.
So you studied zoology and now you are an animal.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens. So don't study zoology or else you become an animal. Yes.
Just for a little bit of context, people who aren't watching the video, I'm in fursuit and so is Fauna. So it's weird because I've never done a video like podcast before in suit before. So it's a bit weird to see my suit move and to see Fauna's suit interact. And I'm just like, yes, the heads are moving, but where is the noise coming from?
Exactly. And I'm trying to move my movable jaw so it looks like I'm talking and not just moving. But that takes a little bit more work.
So tell people who you are and what you do. How did you get into the furry fandom and how did becoming a zoologist end up here?
Okay. So I kind of started early in the fandom in middle school. I was drawing animals all the time, and I got a book that said how to draw furries, and I didn't know furries was a thing. I was just thought anthropomorphic animals and how to draw them. So I did that a lot in middle school, and then I wore my tail. I had my persona, which was a maned wolf back then too, but it had the natural colors. And then in high school, I kind of got bullied out of it, and I saw the more adult side of furries, and that scared me back then. So then I just totally kind of got out of it, went to college. I chose to go with zoology instead of art because my parents were like, oh, you can't make a living off of art. So I was like, oh, I'll do zookeeping. I feel like that'd be fun every day. So I went to college in Colorado and got my degree, then became a zookeeper, and I worked mainly with reptiles and arachnids, so all the stuff that people don't like, because someone's got to like them and take care of them. So that was me, and I've worked with all kinds of species. I've worked with king cobras, anacondas, monitor lizards, rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes are probably my favorite snake to work with. And then but spiders took over my heart. I love spiders. I think they're so cute. So I did a lot of that, but after getting out of college, I kind of fell back into the fandom. And I had a couple friends that I went to college with, and like Freckled Doe, they make the really cool masks with the big teeth, the cool bases. I was in college with her, and had classes and stuff and had no idea until after. So that was kind of neat. And just started getting back more into art and doing like Inktober challenges and drawing more, and then kind of started making a new Sona of a tarantula, and her name's Hamori. She's a Mexican red knee tarantula, and I made her like in a month. It was my first fursuit that I made her in a month. This was back in 2019, and so I made her really poorly. Like, I used chalk to dye the fur because in a small town we just had white fur for sale at the fabric store. So I chalked her up. She's super dirty, just awful to wear. The bodysuit's now thrown away because it was so gross, but she made cute pictures. I made some friends, talked to some of the local furs down here in Arizona, and went to my first con. It was super fun. I was super nervous. And then I started to get what it was about, and totally just fell face first back into the fandom. Super happy about it. And then I went on to make Luna from Hell of a Boss cosplay kind of thing, and made her, and people freaked out, and I got a lot of attention from it, and it's super new to me, and I loved it. Like, I made a lot of friends with her. I went to Painted Desert with her and TFF with her on. And yeah, it was awesome being her and being like a baddie and feeling that energy. And I totally related to her. But then I sold her because I was getting a lot of unwanted attention with how sexualized she was. And so I was like, I can't do this anymore. So my boyfriend now actually bought her from me because he was worried some creep would get her and go in the wrong hands. So yeah, and we've been together for almost a year now. But yeah, that's kind of my story with everything. It's all crazy and everywhere. My fauna, she was kind of like me touching back to me in middle school with my maned wolf Sona, and I was like, you know what, I want to keep the green theme of being a zookeeper and caring about our planet going, and chose a different color palette. But what actually happened was I saw an adopt for a character. It was like a canine character that was this color palette, and I was like, oh, that'd be perfect. So I bid on it, got it, and kind of put those colors on my old character, so making her back to a main wolf. And that's how I kind of kept those colors. So it's very inspired by nature and moss. And but then again, I get called mint chocolate chip all the time, which I love because I love that ice cream. So I'm happy with that, and the colors are just so fun. I love it so much. And yeah, so just based off nature and stuff for her.
Something I want to ask is also on Instagram, you currently have 18,000 followers, which is insane, by the way. How did you gain that following, and how did you react to said following?
That I'm gonna blame on Luna, because people really loved Luna, and just out of nowhere kind of thing. And that was kind of my plan, like, I'll try it out. I'll be Luna for a bit. Hopefully it gains some following, because my end goal was to help educate more people about spiders and wildlife and conservation projects. So she helped me in a big way to get that following, but it's mainly for that, or like to chat out for friends that need help and stuff like that kind of thing. But now I'm on Twitter as well, same username, and that's mainly just Fauna. I didn't do much with Luna on there, but a lot of people are following me on there now all of a sudden, and so people enjoy Fauna as well.
What did your passion, I guess, for ecology and kind of start?
I think it's kind of my upbringing as well. Steve Rowan was like my hero. I love the crocodile hunter. I wanted to be him. And so that's what kind of made me care so much about nature. My parents are big time hippies. So it was just constantly like trash pickup at the river. And I grew up in a Waldorf charter school. So it was very based around nature and chickens, farming, agriculture type stuff. So I've always been super in tune with it. And that's kind of a big part of why I'm so into it, I'd say.
Spider tattoo on your arm. It's kind of, this is the perks of doing the video stuff, is I can now see
Yeah, the
things.
video.
Yeah.
Oh, it's those muscles. No, this is just a deer. My spider tattoo's right here behind my ear. But I have the deer because I'm actually really into hunting. A lot of people think that's weird because I'm a zookeeper and love animals, but hunting's a big part of conservation and helping population control. It's also donating money to the national parks. So it does a lot back for nature, and I just absolutely love it. I love the kind of peace and tranquility of staying outside and camping and being a part of that. But yeah, that's why I have my deer there.
So you mentioned there you really like spiders. I am the opposite. If I see a spider inside of my room, I am gone. I genuinely cannot tell you the amount of times I've seen a spider in my room and I've got up in the middle of the night and left my room. I just can't. And the whole so in Ireland we're absolutely covered in like rats and mice and spiders and stuff here because we're Ireland and it's nothing new here.
There's no snakes.
No, there's no snakes, but there's the whole debate of like, were there ever snakes in the first place? Like the whole thing of like St. Patrick taking away the snakes, but like, was there any snakes in the first place? Because geologically, we wouldn't have the thermostat, we wouldn't have had anything for them to live here. I could go on a big rant about this, but
it's
like, what about spiders makes you love them? You've got a tattoo of them. Where did that non-fear, I guess, because it's something that's the most common fear, I'm pretty sure, arachnophobia, fear of spiders. So what makes you not afraid of them?
It definitely comes from, because even babies react to spiders and snakes in a fearful way. Like they automatically know, like, that's not good news, we don't touch that. There's been studies with that, and I've never had that. Like I'd pick up bugs and daddy long legs, and I got bit by a brown recluse, which is super venomous, and I had to go to the hospital, but I still would pick up spiders. Like I just never had that, I guess. But I definitely appreciate that they're kind of man's best friend in a way. Like they're eating bugs and stuff and taking care of those things that we don't like. I know it's really hard to understand, but I've converted a lot of people to love spiders nevertheless, and I have a really cute one. It's called the velvet spider. She's so cute, and I've had people terrified of spiders hold her and they're like, oh, she is pretty cute. So overall, like, they're more scared of us than we are of them, because we could stomp on them and kill them, and they can't really do that to us. But I don't know, they're very misunderstood. I've never been bit by one of my spiders. I currently have like 32 spiders in my room that I feed, and you're just like shocked. But I love them. Some of them have personalities, like some are super shy, some are like super food hungry, like they'll eat 4 crickets. Some are want to come out and hang out with you, and they just all have personalities. It's so cute.
So you mentioned you went to 2 conventions and stuff. What has been something you've struggled with during the pandemic? Because obviously we haven't been able to have conventions and stuff. Do you plan on going to the most recent cons? Because I do know that there's whispers about MFF, I believe, opening up again soon, and other cons. Do you think it's the right idea to have conventions open right now?
Yeah, the subject, man. I don't know. I'm gonna start with a small con and kind of keep distance and see how it goes. Definitely, like, if everyone's vaccinated, that helps a lot, because there hasn't been too many cases of people getting it when they're vaccinated. But I don't know, because I'm gonna try to do the OFC and Denver are coming up. So I was thinking about those, but they're huge. So a little iffy, but I have that pent up need to interact with furries. So I'm going to start out small and see how it goes.
So how do you usually react when people say that they have such a big fear of spiders and other creatures like that?
I'm pretty open to it because all the time at the zoo with the spiders and snakes, I hear people like, oh, I killed one of those the other day or something like that. And it hurts my heart, but it's so common to hear that, and people do it all the time, and I totally understand. Like I have friends that are that way, like I get it. So I just kind of have I don't know, throw out some facts to try to get people to hear them out and learn about them and maybe see them in a different light.
So you've mentioned a couple of times that you work in a zoo. How was that like? How did you kind of get into zoo work?
It's super competitive. Like if you want to be a zookeeper, you got to be on your hands and knees begging for a job, basically. It helps to have a degree and to have experience, volunteer experience, stuff like that. But it's because of our generation, that grew up on Steve Irwin. I blame it on Steve Irwin because everyone kind of wants to be a zookeeper and stuff with that inspiration. So it's been super competitive. Some zoos require like 10 years experience before you can apply and ridiculous stuff. So I've just got kind of lucky because this was my hometown zoo that I started out at, and it's a rescue facility. So we take in a lot of rescued wildlife and work a lot with the game and fish programs. And yeah, so they kind of knew me. And since quitting, they want me to paint a couple murals around the zoo. So I'm super excited about that. It's going to be my summer project, but I'm definitely focusing on commissions and fursuits this summer.
So you mentioned there, obviously you've worked in the zoos a lot and stuff. What would be one of your favorite memories from working in the zoo in either like the snake facility or with spiders or anything in between?
I swear every day was different. Like that was my favorite part of it. It wasn't the same day every day. Like some days we'd have to go in and round up the Mexican gray wolves because they're a part of the breeding program for endangered species. So we'd have to round them up. We can't do any training and stuff. So we'd all go in there and kind of push them towards the area where we can crate them, or fun knockdowns. So we'd check on the bears. So we'd do a knockdown with a tranquilizer, check out their paws, check out their teeth, things like that. But usually if you're training the animal, you don't have to do that. But let's see, my favorite's probably getting in different animals through the rescue program. I think it was just so cool to see all their stories if they came in. Like we got I'm trying to think of some neat ones. There's a lot of sad ones mostly, but there's some good times. And my boyfriend at the zoo is a little fox. He's so cute, but he loves me and like one other keeper. Everyone else he growls at, so he makes me feel really special. But he's a little gray fox, and he was found on Mother's Day. Someone found him on a trail alone, and he was like 4 weeks old, super tiny. So it was like a sad, sweet story, but lots of memories.
So it's really nice the fact that he was found on Mother's Day and he made a connection with you and stuff on things. Speaking of connecting, where can people find you online?
Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are probably my 3 biggest social medias that I'm using because I can't keep track of anything else. But it's gonna be FaunaFurry, that's FAUNA, and then Fur, FUR. And yeah, I'm open for art commissions almost all the time. And I'm just making pre-made fursuits. I actually made Fauna. I didn't bring that up earlier, but she's made off of a just frost base, and then got the fur and everything, and that's how I made Fauna. And then Black Cheetah Fursuit Studio made her body.
That is an incredible suit. I'm just looking at all the details. That is so pretty. I would never have guessed you made that yourself. That is like incredibly
Thank
done.
you.
But thank you for your social medias and where people can find you online. If you enjoyed the show, first things first, you can find us on Instagram at furry.trashpod, Twitter at ftrashpod, and you can support us on Ko-Fi. I have finally learned how to pronounce that correctly after a year and a half of doing this show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to like and subscribe. The button is floating somewhere in the middle of the two of us, myself and Fauna. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, ta-da! And the videos that YouTube will think you will like it also here somewhere on the screen. And if you're following us on Spotify, make sure to share on social medias and let me know what you think. Fauna, as always, thank you so much for coming on, and I will have all your social medias linked below in the description. But until next time, I will see you later, and thank you so much for tuning in to Furry Trash. Bye-bye.
Thank you.